And welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast. I don't know why I'm doing it like that today, but whatever. The tea is always piping out here. We're always ready to spill. I'm Logan Murphy, just a gay, here with just water. Because hydration.
Hydration is important. And hi, I am Lana, your resident diva, here to give you all the tea and get all the tea. So I'm here
with our new sponsor.
Strawberry Sunkiss. Strawberry Sunkiss, the strawberriest of all drinks. You will love it. I do.
The strawberriest of all drinks. I love you. Oh, that's perfect. And we are here talking week 2 of the American Song Contest. It's still going. It's still happening. And I'm not mad at it yet.
Me either.
So we have 11 brand new states, territories, and not DC, because DC didn't compete this week. So 11 new states and territory, singular, going at it in this second qualifying round for the American Song Contest. This was, I'm going to say, performance-wise, not as strong of a week as week 1.
Okay. I will say I did not watch it. Mm-hmm. I listened to the songs this week, and I did it differently for 2 reasons. Mm-hmm. 1, I didn't have time to watch it because I had to work. 2, because last week I watched the performances and I wanted to see if it was going to be a difference between just watching the performances or just listening to the studio. So next week, my plan is to do both and see if everything still, equals out and adds up or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I do want to say, before we jump into these performances, we did get the jury selections and the votes for week 1.
Yes.
And we already knew Houston, of course, won the jury votes for.
They made it this whole elaborate thing. It was like, oh, who's gonna get it? Oh, who's gonna get it?
Right.
Who's gonna do it? Oh my God, what's gonna happen? And they fully show
They showed the jury rankings and they showed where everybody was ranked, but they didn't factor in America's vote to those rankings. So it was like, this is where the jury placed everybody. But when you add America's vote to the jury rankings, things could shift up and shake up a little bit, which they did.
And they sure did. Yeah.
And I'm very happy that they did, because some of these jury choices. Let me just say, choices.
So let's talk about the information we know for sure, which is where everybody placed in the jury rankings.
Right.
So we had, obviously, Rhode Island with Houston, held on too long, won the jury vote last week. Mm-hmm. Second place, our queen Alexa from Oklahoma. Very excited for that. Third in the jury, and we talked about it last week, and I'm not honestly surprised at all.
I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed.
Kelsey Lamb from Arkansas with Never Like This. Fourth place in the jury voting was Puerto Rico, Christian Pagan, and Loco. Fifth being Michael Bolton, representing Connecticut with Beautiful World. Sixth place was my girl Kyote Star from Mississippi with Fire. Seventh place was Yam House from Minnesota with Ready to Go. With then 8th being our queen Elizabeth Von Presley from Iowa. 9th being Jake O from Wisconsin. 10th, thank God, being New Boot Goofin. And last in the jury rankings for qualifier 1 was UG Skywalking from Indiana.
I would have did some flipping around with that, because that's a little. That's a little I don't agree with New.
I don't love it.
I don't agree with New Goofin, whatever, being anywhere but last place. If you saw the show last week, you know how I feel about that song. You know where I would have placed that song. That song would go in the trash if it was up to me, and that man would be strung up by his shoelaces and his toes for even putting that song out in the atmosphere. It was horrible. But I don't know what the jury was thinking. Whatever. They might, I don't know. Whatever. But I wouldn't have put UG Skywalker in last place. I wouldn't have done that.
No.
But okay.
I'll be honest. I maybe would have put him 10th.
I mean, I think I would have put him at 9th. Jake O would have been 10th.
I think I did put him 10th in my rankings last week. Honestly, I think I did.
I still think Jake O would have been 10th for me.
Fair, but so this is also an interesting thing. We didn't know that the jury voting was actually going to factor into the other 3 qualifiers. Until this episode. We were under the impression that the other 3 qualifiers were going to be purely from the televote, which I think, honestly, again, maybe would have changed some things. We don't know the televote results yet. I hope that we do get that at some point. And if we do, maybe at the end of the season, we do a full recap video or whatever if we have that information, because it'd be interesting to look at. But we do find out that the qualifiers out of Heat 1, kind of best case scenario for Lana, and I'm pretty happy with it too. We have Rhode Island with Houston, Oklahoma with our girl Alexa, Connecticut with Michael Bolton, and Puerto Rico with Christian Pagan qualifying for the semifinals. I think I'm not surprised by any of this. I'm very, very happy to see Puerto Rico as a qualifier because I was very, very nervous for him. So I'm very excited to see that. And what we find out as well in this moment is we don't get any information whatsoever about how it's going to go down, but Kelly does let us know that 2 songs from the entire competition will be brought back. Those are her exact words. So not super sure what that means. Really, we have no information. So I guess after all 5 heats, there's an additional vote or something or other. I'm not really all that sure.
I'm just happy that there are going to be 2 extra people.
Yes.
Getting a chance to. Yeah. Me personally, want to see Elizabeth Von Presley in that. But
as of this current moment, I will be rooting for Elizabeth Von Presley and Kyote Star as my 2 picks. Things may change.
Yes,
I'm going to be real honest. If Arizona doesn't qualify, that's going to change. But but for right now, it's Elizabeth Von Presley and Kyote Star for me, as who both of us would like to see get the second chance or whatever they're calling it. We literally have no information other than 2 people are coming back at some point, and I don't know if that was something they had planned on doing from the start or whether it's something they decided to do after the feedback from week 1. Either way, I'm happy to see it. So. And I'm happy that Lana has her milkshake because I need to know how it is.
Yes, I had a day today. A day.
We both did.
And so the fact that I really wanted something sweet. And so, yes, I got a milkshake.
Good.
From our new sponsor, Cookie Dough Magic. Cookie Dough Magic.
Could you imagine?
Cookie Dough Magic. Could you?
Not sponsored, but I wish we were. But yes, I'm very, very happy with the qualifiers out of week 1. Let's move on to week 2, because this was, as I mentioned, the week of pretty good songs and not great performances from a lot of people. I will say, so Lana talked about how she only listened to the studio versions. I actually did what you're planning on doing next week, and I listened to both. I had the time today. I took the time. I watched the episode. I listened to the studio versions because the interesting thing as well is the studio versions we find out don't have to be in the 2-minute and 45-second time frame that the performances are in.
Yeah, because some of these performances were 5 minutes. Some of these songs were 5 minutes long. And I was like,
We'll talk about it. The song that was 5 minutes did not need to be 5 minutes. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I really liked hearing the extended version of a lot of these songs. Most of them from this week at least weren't. Like, or if anything, they were like hitting 3 minutes and not much further. But yeah, I thought this week overall, not as strong, but there's a lot of really, really strong contenders in this group. So, shall we dive in, Lana?
Yes, please.
Fabulous. We're going to go in running order. So, starting the show tonight was Oregon, represented by the band Courtship. The song is $1 Million Smoothies. Now, in their little intro package, we find out that Courtship is made up of Micah and Eli. They have over 100 million streams on their songs on audio platforms. I assume probably mostly Spotify and Apple Music. And they talk about how they're both from Portland, and it's like one of their fun facts is like Portland has the most bikes per capita in the country or something like that. And we find out that they have opened for Weezer, which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Lana, what do you think of the song, just getting the song itself?
I didn't really care for the song, honestly. I was not that, I mean, I thought it was a song.
It is a song that exists.
It was a song. It plays, people sing it. Not a lot of notes, like literally when I listened to the song this morning, as soon as it was over, I was like, That was my reaction. It was just, okay. Didn't do much for me. It didn't grab my attention. And when you listen to something and not watching a performance, you don't have the same draw of the performance bringing you in. It strictly just has to be the song grabs your attention, and as you listen, and I'm like listening to it as I'm getting dressed and getting ready for work, and it just did not grab my attention. It was just like,
It was definitely an interesting choice to start the show. So their staging, I have to say, my only positive for Courtship, I'm going to be real honest, is the staging. They understood the assignment. They knew what they were coming to serve and what they were coming to give. They start and it's like, they're standing up, but it's like the way it's staged, it looks like they're in bed, and it's like a bedroom scene for the first entire shot. They then pull away, and then it's like this very grandiose staging with like a knocked over like smoothie cup. And then, Lana, there are backup dancers dressed as $1 Million Smoothies.
So that is what I saw. Yeah. And when Kelly and Snoop came out, they had their dancers were in the back, so I saw the green costume.
You saw the $1 Million Smoothie dancers. Yeah. Yep. Staging on point. Song not all that memorable. I remember like the hook, the like $1 Million Smoothies, whatever. Vocals not the best.
Oof.
I thought Micah, who I believe to be the lead singer of the group, he felt very weak at certain points. I wrote that his vocals absolutely could be stronger. It got incredibly repetitive by the end. They were just saying the same thing. And if you've watched any of our Eurovision reviews, you'll know I don't love super repetitive songs unless it keeps me engaged. This one did not do so. They also put a disclaimer at the end of the performance. Like, it was literally like a disclaimer went across the screen that was like, $1 Million Smoothies can cause hallucinations. Or like, it was dumb and stupid and I liked it. Like, they went full camp with the performance which is very Eurovision. And for that, I have to give them some props, but it was not a great overall experience for me.
I mean, listening to it, like, I didn't even like how it sounded. Like, I didn't like the mixing of the song. And like, it just sounded very like they were in their bathroom or in the garage and they recorded this song and then threw it in there. Like, it wasn't mixed well. It sounded very hokey, very, very cheesy, like. And I'm like, maybe that's what they were going for, since the song is called $1 Million Smoothies, but it just didn't grab it for me. It just kind of like, eh.
And the message of like money being fleeting and like all of that. And then,
sure, great.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, go off. But yeah, it was a good way to start the show, I guess, but I didn't remember the song by the end. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, moving along, next up, we're going to talk about Montana. The artist is Jonah Prill. The song is Fire It Up. Now, I have to give a disclaimer here. I am a sucker for any man in cowboy boots. I am a sucker for that. And he is a generically handsome white man. So I was intrigued. That's about all I got out of it, though. His intro package, he talks about, so his family are ranchers. Talks about ranch life being hard. He has a love of photography, which he talks about a lot. And obviously Montana has beautiful views. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
He started writing music as a young kid. He described his genre as modern country. And that's pretty. He sounds like pretty much any white man under the age of 30 doing country music today on the radio.
I actually like the song.
Really? Okay.
I did. I actually like the song.
I don't love it and I don't hate it.
I liked it. I heard it. I remembered it when it was over. I wasn't singing along, like singing it back later on in the day. But I was like, okay, I can hear this song on the radio. Mm-hmm. I can hear this song, at somebody's music festival. Hyping the crowd up.
What's the country music version of Coachella? Oh God. Stagecoach. Like I would see him as like a sixth line headliner at Stagecoach or something like that. Like that's what it gives me. What I will say, the studio version I thought was well done.
Mm-hmm.
And he should stay as a radio artist because the performance was very weak.
Oof.
And it brought it down a few notches for me. He did this thing, and honestly, if you go back and watch only one performance, Lana, I would maybe recommend this one because he does this thing where with his arms where he's like he's very like gesturing with his arms. He's like, fire it up, fire. Like it was too damn much for me. Mm. And it was like every other word he was doing this arm movement, whatever. He has a lot of good charisma and stage presence. It's not the strongest live vocal, and for a song contest like this, it's just not the best. He also said in his intro package that he described the song as the song of the summer, and yet I found it so solidly mid-tempo that like I don't necessarily see it for him.
I don't see song of the summer. I see, I mean, because when you think of song of the summer, you like one of those songs is gonna hype you up. Whatever. It's just whatever it is you just like, you can't get the melody out of your head. You can't get the hook out of your head. It's just like every time you hear it, you want to dance. This song is not that.
I think of appropriately named, like Song of the Summer for me is kind of epitomized by the song Goodbye Summer by Danielle Bradbury. I don't know if you've heard it or if the audience has heard it. That screams Song of the Summer for me. It's a catchy beat. She's got a really good vocal. Like, it's very catchy in that regard.
What's the song? It was a song of the the cake song.
Cake by the Ocean.
Yeah, that's the song of the summer. Cake by the ocean.
Yeah.
Cake by the. That's a summer song. Something where you go always remember. Hot Girl Summer. Stuff like that. It's where you're just like, yeah. Those are songs that are songs of the summer where you just feel like every time you hear this, you just want to dance. This song doesn't make you want to dance. It makes you want to, you might groove a little bit, but not, song of the summer hype.
Yeah, it also didn't help that on top of a vocal that wasn't necessarily the strongest, he also didn't have a lot of vocal stamina. And you could hear him gassing out by the end of the performance. And I was like, Jonah. But I thought it was like fine. It's a studio version that I will continue to listen to. I did not vote for him.
Yeah, I'm about to say the studio version definitely apparently outweighs the performance, which is sad because I just listened to the studio version. I liked the song. I thought the song was a good song. It was a solid song. Yeah. Is it the top of the list? No, but it's a solid song. Yeah. And it's pretty high in my rankings, honestly, because it was, I just like the song.
Sure. And I love getting that perspective of like you having only listened to the studio versus me who's listened to both. I'm interested to see where our list ends up.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's going to be different this time.
Yeah, I a little bit, but yes.
Oh, I think a lot of it.
Ooh, okay.
I do.
Ooh, all right. Next up, we have New York. The artist is ENISA. The song is Green Light. ENISA talks in her intro package about how she's first generation Albanian, so she is very familiar with Eurovision, clearly. And if you've looked at my Twitter recently, you'll know I'm a big fan of this year's Albanian entry. Ronella Hayati is my queen, so I'm excited to have another Albanian queen to root for because I love ENISA. She's from Brooklyn, and she talks about how New York City as a whole is just a city of immigrants, and that her song is about having, the green light to make what you want to happen come true. I absolutely love this song. And it's fine that you don't like it, but I'm going to tell you why I do. She has so much charisma on stage. The vocal was not 100%. I'll say it was about 90%. But I thought it was repetitive in the good way for me. She kept me engaged in the performance. She was all over the stage, doing everything she could. The staging, she had this really cool, like, laser effect with this green light, if you will. It was one of the better stagings for me of the night. I will say I did wish there was a bit more substance to the choruses because it becomes green light, green light, green light, green light, green light. So it was not a perfect performance, but for me, I really like it.
Okay. For me, I thought the song was okay. I thought the song, like just listening to it, I felt like it's something that we would hear. It's very much what is on par right now. Yeah. That's out on the radio. As far as like, I guess, pop kind of, a little bit of mix with.
She described her style as very like ethnic pop.
Yeah.
So I think it's also, this song is very Eurovision. And I don't know whether that influences my decision or not, or my feeling or not, but like, it's very Eurovision.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it didn't grab me, but I like when I first started how I did my rankings or whatever, it started out pretty on the like high end, middle of the pack kind of thing. But the more songs I heard, it was kind of like, oh, well. But I didn't hate the song. That's the thing. I didn't hate it.
Sure.
I just didn't love it.
Sure.
And it just didn't make me go, ooh, I want to listen to that song more, because it was just like, it just sounded anything like anything that's out right now. And I feel like for me, I'm listening for something new in these songs. So because I feel like these are the songs that's futurely going to be on the radio in the future. And I don't want the songs that's going to be on the radio in the future to sound just like the songs on the radio now, because I'm tired of these songs that's now. So I want to hear something different. And I just felt like this one just gave me the same. And so not a bad song, just not a song that I'm like, I would be jamming out to on a regular basis.
Meanwhile, I gave her 10 points. So, yeah. This is definitely a song that I think is very much so aided by the performance.
Okay.
Fair. But, yeah. There's just something about her. I don't know what it is. I'm full on Team ENISA. Let's go. Boom. But, all right. Next up, we have Nebraska. The artist is Jocelyn, and the song is Never Alone. Her intro package talked a lot about being from Nebraska and how everyone from Nebraska is really nice. And Nebraska nice is a different level of nice. And it was a lot of Nebraska nice. We find out she grew up with a single mother, wasn't always in the best scenes, but really got saved by the Omaha music scene. She's currently partnered with the Boys Town National Alliance to bring, Nebraska nice, if you will, into schools. She actually went viral on TikTok back in 2016. That's how her career kind of got bolstered. And she has gotten to open on multiple occasions for Darius Rucker, which he's one of my favorite artists. So I loved seeing that. And so I was expecting, they showed like a little clip of her with like a really severe rasp in her voice and doing like sort of like country with a little bit of pop, a little bit of like soul influence in it. So I was honestly really taken aback when we get to her song, and it's this like pop ballad. Yeah. Lana, what'd you think of Jocelyn?
I like the message of the song. I like the fact that she's just like, if you feel like you're going through something that's really hard, just know you're never alone. And I like from the studio's version, it was a good version. I mean, it was a good song. It was very that I guess inspirational, like, meditation type song was like, I'm not alone. There are people who are going through the same thing, and we can help each other. And it was a very inspirational song. It was nice. It was nice. It was I felt like it was a song that would do well for a minute. You know what I'm saying? One of those songs, it's like, oh, this song is nice, and people will respond to it for about a month, and then we don't hear from it ever again. And I don't know what her performance sounded like or what her vocal sounded like on TV, but on the studio, I was like, she seems like she has a okay, like even in the studio, I didn't think her voice was like the best. So I'm definitely not looking forward to what she sounded like live.
It wasn't great.
It was, so.
Yeah. They showed a little bit of a clip of like her viral TikTok, and it was this like raspy, strong vocal, and I was like, yes, girl, she's gonna give us something powerful. And oh no, you're giving me a guitar pop ballad, I think. I agree with you. The message, phenomenal. The staging might have been my favorite staging of the entire night, because for the bulk of the performance, she's just stood in the middle. It's just her and a guitar. And they did this really cool thing with lighting that I've seen done before, where they create like a circle of light around her that like extends out. And it's like, it looked like waves almost. And then I think it was at the second chorus, they drop that and it becomes this like midnight purple starry scene with like Never Alone. It was really pretty, and I thought it was one of the better stagings of the night. However, I liked the song in the studio version, but everything you said, I have to agree with tenfold. Her tone is great. Her lower register wasn't strong. Her high notes were not good, not as good as they could have been. It honestly felt in a lot of ways similar to the way that Kelsey Lamb performed last week for Arkansas, and that I could tell she was nervous. And at certain points, her voice in like the lower and the higher register was breaking a bit. I have full confidence that she has a very strong voice outside of this one performance. But judging on the performance itself, it was not as strong as a lot of the other artists of the night, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because I really liked her. She was captivating. She was so lovely and pleasant. And I was like, yes, Jocelyn, give it to me. And it didn't. It just didn't.
That's sad. Sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But we move.
We move.
Next up is the Virgin Islands. The artist is Cruz Rock, and the song is Celebrando. So he is specifically from the island of St. Croix. So he's repping there specifically. There was a lot of really fun B-roll of like celebrations and like everything. It looked as though like they filmed as though it was like a carnival situation. There were dancers in the lovely giant headdresses and like stilt walkers. And it was a really, really cool, lovely intro package. And he talks about how his mom is from Trinidad and his dad is from Puerto Rico. So he's kind of representing all of these different Latinx and Caribbean cultures. And then we got to the song. I'm very happy. It seems like we're in the same boat here. Not for us.
I like it. From the studio version, I liked it. I was dancing.
Agreed.
I was dancing when it was playing. I was like, hey, the beat was great. It was, I enjoyed the feeling of it. I felt like I didn't know where he was from when I was watching, when I was, just listening, because it didn't tell us where, but I figured as much it would be somewhere like, since we already saw Puerto Rico last week, I was figuring it's somewhere like the islands or something. So it's nice to know I was correct, to see that it was Virgin Islands. He's in St. Croix, which I'm like jealous, because if I lived in paradise, that'd be great. But
a lot of great. If you don't go watch anything else, I would honestly say watch Jonah's performance to see how weak his vocal was, and go watch Cruz Rock's intro package just to see how gorgeous St. Croix is. Honestly,
like St. Croix is on my bucket list of places I want to go. Trinidad and Tobago, St. Croix, all the islands. Just
of course, yeah.
But yeah, the song itself, I felt like it was a good upbeat up-tempo song. I was hoping that the performance would match the energy of the studio's version of the song, because like I feel like that's what will make this song. Like the studio version, I feel like it can fall a little flat.
Yes.
But I feel like this song needs a great performance to boost it up some. So I don't know what it is, but I also feel like in my head, which is so, I hate that I'm doing it and I hate that it's this way, but I feel like I'm comparing Celebrando to
To
Loco. And I don't
Yeah.
want to do that because I hate when people do things like this hip hop artist and this hip hop artist we have to compare. This pop artist and this pop artist we need to compare. This country artist and this, I don't like to do that because I feel like every song should be able to stand on its own. But in this competition, every song is going to get compared to other songs. And as much as I don't want to do it, putting it next to Loco after what I heard last week and hearing this song, I'm just like, does it add up to me in my head? And that's a no. It didn't add up to me to Loco. But I don't know what the performance was looking like. I wish in my head, I hoped that it would be like this fun atmosphere and everybody's having a good time. And it just, because Celebrando definitely means celebration or celebrate. And it's like, I want to see a celebration on that stage.
There certainly was. Okay. I have to say, I felt as though this performance was doing the most. I think there were easily at least 12 dancers on stage, none of which were in the same outfits. There were like 3 or 4 dancers in the like headdresses, like carnival style, which was lovely. And then you had these other dancers in these like blue, almost like boiler suit situations. And like they were lovely. It felt as though they went 200% on the staging and the experience to make up for the fact that his vocals were at about a 60.
Oh.
And there was also a lot of jetting smoke, which masked the stage for about half the performance because they kept doing it. This was, I have to say, just based on the overall, there was just a lot going on. For me, it was the worst staging of the evening, which is unfortunate because listening to the studio version, I agree with everything you said. I really like the studio version. The difficulties with the vocals came in that, honestly, you couldn't understand a lot of what he was saying because he was like, not necessarily I'm going to say slurring, but not in a negative connotation. Like, he wasn't like drunk, obviously. Or, I mean, we don't really know. But like, he was slurring his words a little too much in the performance. I honestly had no clue most of the lyrics until I listened to the studio version, where that problem is solved, obviously, because there's a lot more enunciation in that. I also just didn't find that there was a lot of substance to the song. Like, the verses repeat at one point, and the chorus is a little more shallow as far as lyrics are concerned. He has a lovely stage presence for the parts of the performance I could see through the smoke and the fog. But this wasn't horrible.
Okay.
Let's say that. It wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
Definitely not one of my favorites. So.
Agree. I hear you.
Yeah. So, will he qualify? I really don't know. Because I don't know if the juries will take too well to that specific performance. But we will see next week. So, moving on, middle of the running order, smack dab in the middle is Kentucky, Jordan Smith. The song is Sparrow. Now, obviously, because this is an NBC program, there was a lot of discussion about how he won The Voice.
Okay.
He won The Voice. He's got, if you don't know, he's got one of the, I'm going to go ahead and say one of the most iconic blind audition performances from The Voice. He sings Chandelier by an artist we no longer acknowledge, or at least I don't, but he sings that song. And You know how sometimes on The Voice they don't show who the artist is initially, and they only show like the coaches reacting to it, and then they turn their chairs and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like that. He is like the epitome of "Oh my god!" Like Gwen Stefani on his season had like the most over the top bullshit response to him because he doesn't have a traditionally masculine voice. That honestly started my dislike for Gwen Stefani, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. But yeah, he won The Voice just having a phenomenal voice. And when I saw him in the lineup, I was not surprised in the slightest. His intro package talks about the 4 B's of Kentucky being bourbon, basketball, baseball bats, and bluegrass, which I thought was fun. He talks about how he wrote a song for Celine Dion, who is one of the most famous Eurovision winners of all time. So that's really cool. He talks about KFC and how he's actually a Kentucky Colonel, which is a real thing that people are given. So
that's a thing.
So he is technically the honorable Jordan Smith, which is, I love that. Yeah. What can you say about the song other than its complete perfection in every possible way? And I would not be surprised whatsoever if Jordan Smith wins this whole thing.
I will say, I heard this song. I have never heard of Jordan Smith before a day in my life.
Wow.
Don't know him. Yeah. Didn't watch his season of The Voice. Don't know who he is. Never heard of him. I heard the song and I was like blown away. Blown away fabulous. Like his range, his voice was amazing. I just simply sat and listened to that song and was just like, wow. Like there was no words for me because he just sang it in the most it was just pure perfection.
Pure perfection.
It was pure perfection. I don't, like I said, I have no idea who he was, but I know who he is now. And that is what this competition should be about, making memorable artists. And I don't even know if this song with anybody else would have done half as well, but this song with this voice is perfect. I don't care what his performance looked like. He could have been laying on the floor in a dirty shirt and and torn pants and sang the way he sang it, and I still would have loved it because this song with his voice was pure perfection.
Well, I'll be happy to tell you, Lana, the performance sounds the exact same as the studio.
Then that's the best thing.
He's got one of the best live vocals. He is I'm definitively saying, he is one of the best people to win The Voice ever. I don't care what country you're talking about. I don't care how many seasons you're talking about. He is one of the best singers. He is like the reason The Voice is still a thing, honestly. His staging was so elegantly simple. Just him on a platform. They had like this lighting effect where it looked like feathers were falling. It was just absolutely gorgeous. And then at the very end, he finishes out the song with a full choir, and it's just a beautiful moment, and it's just lovely.
They gave him the Michael Bolton.
They really did. And the funny thing, it's funny you say that, he's in the exact same position that Michael Bolton performed in last week. Michael Bolton was smack dab in the middle of his heat, and so was Jordan Smith.
Wow.
I did write down, and this isn't a negative whatsoever, but I wrote down that he has what a lot of people call the Eurovision key change, So Eurovision songs, you know, there's a couple every year where, you know, the last chorus, you're going to change the key and it's going to be different. And it's just like a funny thing that we point out.
I mean, as a singer myself, that is the epitome of showing your range. You have to. I don't think I've ever sang a song that I've been without a key change. You have to do the key change, because if you don't do a key change, that means you're very comfortable with where you are and you don't have range. You won't show. In a competition like this, you have to show it all. You got to show off. And so you have to do the key change. And his key change is what made me like stand up in my house. Like I was sitting down, and when he did it, I was like, ah! Yes, I was waiting on the key change. I felt it coming in my spirit. I felt it when he was building up to it. And when he did it, it just was like, ah, perfect. I loved it.
Yep. Truly phenomenal, spectacular in every possible way. Yes. And so it's difficult to follow that performance. And our next performer certainly did that. We're going to talk about North Dakota. The artist is Chloe Fredericks. The song is Can't Make You Love Me. So her intro package was, I think, my favorite of all of them, honestly. So she talks about her like North Dakota fun fact is that there's more cows than people, which I love.
I can believe it. Love that.
She talks about how her family are 4th generation cattle ranchers.
Okay.
And she's actually Native American.
Period.
I did not catch the exact nation and tribe that she's a part of. I'm so sorry. I will grab it for the next episode. It just all went very quickly and I didn't have time to grab it. But she was actually given her name by her tribe last year, and she talks about that and how her name translates to they hear her voice, which I just love. She is the Elizabeth Von Presley of this week for me. Like I am like just such a visceral reaction from the way Chloe performed this song. I really hope you like it. I
love the song.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
I love the song. I thought it was a great song. Yeah, I really did. I remembered the song. It started up high on my rankings and it stayed there because it was just such, like, first of all, the message in it all. I can't make you love me. I'm not going to keep trying. Obviously, there's nothing I could do. And I think everybody has felt that about if you've ever been in love with someone and it was one-sided or they just fell out of love with you. It's just like you want it so bad to make this person love you. But then it's like, you know what? That day comes and it's realized, I can't do it. There's nothing I could do to make you love me. So it resonated with me in my, personal experiences and life experience. And it was just a great song. The vocals were so good. I just loved everything about this song. I just liked it. I don't even, like I said, I don't know what she looks like. I don't know what the performance looked like. I don't know anything about it. She's probably stunning. I don't know.
Stunning. Gorgeous.
But I just know I felt her in this song. And this is one of those songs that it's like when I'm feeling in a melancholy kind of mood and I'm feeling like I just want to be sad for a minute or I just want to be mad for a minute. I put the song on and just like, I'm in my feelings today. I just really liked it. I just liked it.
I feared for whoever was going to have to follow Jordan in this lineup. Chloe did not disappoint whatsoever.
She did not fall into the Kelsey Lamb curse.
No. So she did, I will say she had a few moments where her voice went a little sharp, where she went for the big note and it just ended it slightly ever so sharp. but she corrected it throughout the performance. She had a very strong a cappella start, which I loved. Her stage presence, her performance was literally just red background on like the screens, a band on some like elevated platforms, and her just in the middle of the stage, commanding the stage, commanding this audience. This is, I think, one of the few songs in this lineup that if it does not qualify, I'm going to be incredibly angry. This is honestly my Alexa of last week. Like, I'm going to be viscerally upset if Chloe does not win. She needs, or not win, not necessarily win. I just want her to qualify. God, it's such a good performance. She sold every single bit of it, and I believed every single word that came out of her mouth. It wasn't a perfect performance, but it was perfect for me.
Okay.
And she's another one I gave full 10 points to, which by the time this comes out, voting will have closed. But at the time of filming, voting is still open. So Lana, if you have not voted, go do that. Because we get to do that. How fun is that?
Have fun.
But yes, Chloe, phenomenal, beautiful, stunning, absolutely fantastic. So, moving on, next up, we have Kansas. The artist is Broderick Jones, and the song is Tell Me. His intro package, I'm going to be honest, was kind of a little flat. It's a lot about Kansas and how Kansas is the middle of the country and how is that kind of influenced because he's getting influences from all different directions. It was really strange. But he talks about how he's built off of hard work, all that kind of stuff. The song I really like in the studio version. I think it's another song very similar to Montana, where I feel like the song works a lot better in the studio version because the actual performance, the vocal wasn't super strong. I liked the message, but it did get a little repetitive, and it felt like a lot of things that we're hearing on the radio today, which isn't necessarily inherently a bad thing, but in this case, it just sounded so similar to other things that I'd heard that it kind of took away from the performance for me a little bit. The staging was interesting. He has this like crescent moon situation. I'm curious if he borrowed it from Eurovision last year from Blas Canto. If you know, you know. But he has this like moon in the background. There's like this cloud setup that he never like gets on. And then he's got like women dancing around him, and it starts with only one woman and then it multiplies into more women. And it was, I don't know. I liked the fact that it was a blend of like this R&B sound with this EDM beat. And I thought overall it was an intriguing enough song, but the performance didn't match it. And it felt like lackadaisical for me.
Okay. Well, I liked the song for what it was. I was like, okay, nice beat, nice, whatever. But I think this song fell into the same trap for me as ENISA song, Green Light. It was just something that I'm used to hearing. It was nothing really new. Oops, now I'm about to drop my computer. It was nothing really new about it, and so it wasn't like fresh, wasn't like, you know, it was okay. If I heard it on the radio, I wouldn't turn it. I wouldn't be like, ugh. I mean, I listened to it, but it was just okay. It was a good middle of the road, solid song for me. Yeah, I wasn't blown away, but I wasn't like hating it.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly how a lot of the songs this week have been. Like it's good. It's a quality song, but there's nothing really that's grabbing me and like pulling me in. But
yeah.
So, all right, we've got 3 more. Woo. Next up is Virginia. The artist is Almira, Zaky, and the song is Over You. So she is a first-generation American of Indonesian Muslim heritage. She talks about how her name means princess in Arabic. Her music influences come from 90s and 2000s R&B with a little bit of pop and a little bit of soul involved. I can definitely, and a lot of her intro package was talking about the difference between like Northern Virginia and Southern Virginia. Because she's from Northern Virginia, and there's a difference between Northern and Southern Virginia.
It definitely is.
I would not know. I've never been to Virginia. But yeah, Lana, what'd you think of Almira?
First of all, it is a difference between Northern Virginia and Southern Virginia. Seeing that I've traveled through Virginia, you can definitely tell because of what the location is. Think of what it is. Southern Virginia is very close to very much South Carolina, West Virginia, very southern route. Northern Virginia is close to DC, and that culture slides down into the Virginia, the DMV, like they want.
She talked about it. Yep.
It's they're very much on the D side of it than the V side of it. So yeah, it is. I like this song. I really did like this song. And once you said that her genres that she like 2000 R&B, I totally get it. Totally heard it in the song. So I didn't know any of that before. So hearing it now, I'm like, that makes sense. This song is a song that I would listen to on a regular basis. This is a song that I made note to play it when I got home because I wanted to hear it again. I didn't get a chance to do that before we got on, but I wanted to listen to these songs again to make sure that my initial thoughts were still my same thoughts. But I remember the song, and I really like the song. I like the vocals. I like the lyrics. I just like the song. I like how it sounded in studio. I like the mix, the master of it. It just was a song that I felt resonated to me. And it was a song that I feel like, yeah, we've all felt that I'm over you. And you know what I'm saying? Like
this and Chloe Fredericks are the two songs that I'm like, this is coming at just like the ideal time for me because this is how I'm feeling. I'll tell you off.
Yeah. We won't jump into your personal life here, but
not today. Maybe at some point in the future, because I'm willing. But
yeah, I just felt like this was on, like you said, it was on the same vein of "Can't Make Me Love You." I'm over you. This is everything that any person who's gone through a relationship and a breakup, and you just go through those, I guess. The signs of grief or whatever.
I was about to say
those signs of grief. And so we start with, the acceptance of I can't make you love me. And, I'm just over you. It was everything. I enjoyed this song. I will listen to this song again. I'll probably listen to it tonight before I go to bed. It was just a good song. I really enjoyed it. I hope this is one of the songs where I put an asterisk by, and I did that for a couple of songs, for Over You, for Can't Make Me Love You, and Celebrando. I hoped, and Sparrow, I hoped that the performance matched up to the song from the studio because I really, really, really enjoyed it so much that I wanted it to be good. And so far, only you said Celebrando didn't match up to the song. So far, I'm doing really well.
So you said Sparrow, Can't Make You Love Me, and Celebrando were your other ones?
And Over You, yes.
You went 3 for 4, Lana.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. Those are the ones.
Again, was it a perfect performance from Almira? No. But I thought the vocals were very strong. The staging was super fun. It was her and 6 backup dancers and doing like a very, honestly, early 2000s R&B sort of choreography performance to it. She really has a style and a way of performing that she's like stuck into. That is her thing, and I love seeing that out of artists regardless of genre. Like if you're country, go country. If you're somewhere in between these genres, go somewhere in between these genres and do your damn thing. And that, I feel, is what Almira is doing here. She had a little bit of issue with breath control, I felt, in some of the faster parts, but that's to be understandable because this is probably like maybe at most the 4th or 5th time she's performing it live, because there's a lot of rehearsals. So it's probably, I feel like if and when she qualifies, and I really hope she does, she's going to get a little bit more comfortable with that and a little bit more comfortable with doing it live in front of an audience. So I'm excited to see that. But the staging, her outfit was just this like light brown, like 2-piece, like bra pants. Like she just looked so cool. The whole performance, it was just cool. Like that's kind of like the whole vibe of it, is just the whole vibe was so cool. Her vocals for the most part were really good. I had a really good time watching Almira, and I'm very happy.
That's so good. I'm
About
happy
it,
too.
yeah.
I'm happy that the performance was just as good as the song, because that's what I wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 2 more. The penultimate spot tonight is going to Maine. The artist is King Kyote, and the song is Get Out Alive. So he talks a lot about like what Maine is known for, and he's like, it's known for lobster and LL Bean and lighthouses, and he wants to break the stereotypes about Maine, whatever that means. He talks about loving surfing. He talks about how the average Mainer has a tough exterior and a soft interior, and how this song, he wants to invoke like drinking whiskey under the pine trees. And that's, you know, his vibe. Lana, what'd you think of King Kyote?
This was the song that was 5 minutes long.
It sure was.
On the studio. And I needed it to be cut down by 3 minutes. I needed to be cut down by 5 minutes, actually. Yep. I did not like this song at all.
Nope, me either.
I did not care for it. I just, it did nothing for me. I just was not, you know, it wasn't, it just wasn't for me. Yep. And it was way too long. It was, I don't know what he was talking about. I did not like his voice. I did not like the lyrics. I just didn't like this song as a whole. Is it worse than New Boot Goofin'? No, by none means no.
When we do our overall rankings of all 56 songs, which I hope to do at some point, you know, if New Boot Goofin' is 56th, King Kyote might be 55th, honestly.
Right. Because this was just not.
And the performance, Lana, I'm really happy you understood the words coming out of his mouth in the studio version. I could not understand a damn thing he was saying other than the chorus. He was another one. It was very similar to Celebrando in the way that he kind of slurred everything together. And so, like, you really couldn't understand a lot of what he was saying, on top of not really necessarily having the strongest vocal. The cut, because I did listen to the full 5-minute version of the studio version, and what he cut out of the song was so interesting, because what his performance ended up being was him singing that like 2-line chorus probably like 5 times.
Oh no.
It was just not good for me. I don't vibe with this song. He's nice enough to look at, and I liked his rasp. I will say that was the one big thing. He had a really nice rasp to his voice, but I couldn't understand what he was saying otherwise, and it was not good. Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't.
Nope.
I didn't care for him.
Let's move on, shall we?
Yes, please.
Great. Closing the show, to nobody's surprise, given this lineup, is Ohio with Macy Gray and the California Jet Club featuring Maino. All the things.
All of that.
The song is Every Night. I talked in our last episode about how I was very excited to see Macy Gray. She's one of my favorite artists. Her intro package talked a lot about how her extended family is very important to her. She talks about how her first job was at the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, which I thought was really fun. And she even points out that she's like, yeah, I know my voice is dry and I know my voice isn't for everyone, but I'm going to do me. And you even talked about it, Lana, like it's not necessarily for you. I feel like I should probably start here. I love Macy Gray. I think she's a phenomenal performer. I think she's a great woman. This performance was a complete disaster. Like, the song in the studio cut, I actually don't hate. The performance, it was like she had her band backing her, plus Maino, who Snoop Dogg made, I don't know if it was a joke or if it was like an actual statement saying that Maino was his like nephew.
Oh, no,
I don't know.
He calls everybody nephew.
Okay, cool. I was like, I don't know Snoop Dogg enough to know if that's a real thing or not. But like she had Maino performing, and then she also had this like 20-piece choir.
Oof. All right.
And like I think Macy Gray sung about 30% of the song. And what she did sing was not the best. So yeah.
I actually like the song.
Yeah.
I was very going into, because like I said last week, Macy Gray isn't somebody who I'm just like a huge fan of, as far, because I mean, I get everybody has their own unique style and whatever. Her style just isn't for me. And it's nice to know that she recognizes and she knows that her style, her voice is just not, everybody's not going to get it. And for the most part, I think she has great tone. Like her tones are great. And she's definitely sings on key. It's just very, the rasp and the slur and the, you know, that's not for me. But I like this song. I like the feel of this song. It was very much like, you know what? It was more of a song of the summer than what Oh Boy thought $1 Million whatever was going to be.
Oh no, that was Fired Up.
Or Fired Up. Yeah. Then yeah, it was definitely more of what I would think of a summer song of the summer would be, because it's like very you know, a good groove behind it, and you know, it was a nice. I didn't mind it, the studio version of the song. Like, I didn't get to see the performance, but see, and that's the thing with me and Macy Gray. I never like watching Macy Gray sing live, because I feel like Macy Gray does some things that's so cringy to me and weird, and in ways that I don't know if she's drunk or not, or high or not, because it just seems like a very trippy type deal watching her live. So I don't always get it. And so I would prefer never to watch Macy Gray live, but only listen to her songs on the radio, because I like her songs on the radio. Yeah. I do like them. And if it's on, I'm not changing it unless they play it, you know, forever and ever and get on my nerves. But like the first time I hear a song, I'm not like, ugh, Macy Gray, turn it. I will listen to the song because I think she makes good music. I just don't like watching Macy Gray perform live. So hearing you say that the performance was a train wreck doesn't surprise me, because I feel like all the performances Macy Gray do are train wrecks, because it just does some things. She just does things that are so trippy and wild that it takes away from everything she puts in the song, to me.
I'm not even kidding. I had to look up after I watched the performance whether mushrooms were legal in the state of Ohio. because it felt as though, like, everything you said, I completely agreed. She, in this performance, was in her own universe the whole time. She spent like half the performance performing to this one corner of the left side of the stage. Like, she wasn't even like performing out to people. She was just performing to like a corner. And it was really strange. And like Maino was doing the best job with what he could do. Yeah. And I love Macy Gray, so I was honestly really upset about it. But another example in this heat specifically of like great studio cut, just not a great live performance. But that is 11 songs. We did that. Now, Lana, do you know who the jury winner was?
I don't know.
Okay. Take a wild guess.
If it's not Sparrow, then I'm very annoyed if it's not.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Lana, but it's Sparrow.
That's obvious. That was...
Nobody is surprised.
None whatsoever. That is so obvious, and it should be. Like, absolutely. That song, that voice, that everything was everything. Yep. So I'm not surprised. If it wasn't, I would have been very shocked. Like, yeah.
If it wasn't, he was going to qualify regardless.
Of course, he was going to qualify, but the fact that I don't think he needs to. Like, he is somebody who should just get to the finals because of that song and that voice. It was amazing. And I'm not saying it's even about Michael Bolton. Like, I feel like Michael Bolton needs to go through the ringer too. This dude, Jordan Smith, should make it all the way to the end strictly on this song and that studio version alone, because it was just that good.
Sure. Well, we have some rankings to give out, Lana. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Cool. Well, I'm pretty sure we have the same last place, maybe. I'll go ahead and give mine. My last place for this heat is Maine.
Yeah, don't have to change it. That's mine too.
Great. Yeah. 10th place for me is Oregon.
You don't have to change it because that's me too.
Yay! Okay, lovely. Yeah, just not strong enough compared to the rest of the field, but whatever. 9th place for me, I'm very sad to say, is Macy Gray.
9th place for me is not Macy Gray. 9th place for me is Never Alone.
Well, we don't have to change it because my 8th place is Never Alone.
My 8th place, unfortunately, is Celebrando.
Whoa!
I just wasn't.
Wow.
I just wasn't.
I mean, we don't have to change it because my 7th place is Celebrando, but like, wow. I was expecting it to be higher for you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I got Loco. Don't need it.
Sure.
No, it's not true.
No, that's fair.
That's not. My 7th place is... Tell me.
Well, once again, we don't have to change it because my 6th place is Tell Me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
My 6th place is Green Light, ENISA.
How dare you?
It just didn't. It's middle of the road for me. Like,
I understand that, yeah. I got it. So, what are we at? 5th? Because I haven't clicked a button in a while. And I get to click a button this time. So, top 5. My 5th place, kind of surprisingly, is Montana.
Oh, okay.
Fire it up.
My 5th place is actually Macy Gray, because I like the song.
Sure. So my top 4, I will say before I dive in, my top 4 are the 4 that I hope qualify, obviously. I wouldn't be horribly upset if Montana qualified, but I'd be a little angry. But with that said, my 4th place is ENISA.
Okay. And my 4th place is Fired Up.
Great. Okay, at least we have the same top three.
Most
That
definitely.
makes me feel better. I don't know if we'll have them in the same order though.
Probably, maybe not.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay. Third place for me is Almira Zaky.
Okay. Third place for me is Can't Make Me Love You.
Oh no.
Can't Make You Love Me.
Okay.
I love it, but yeah. Top three.
Second place for me is Sparrow.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Second place for me is Over You.
Yep. Yeah. And my first place, it's the damn performance. It was very close between the top three, but my number one is North Dakota. And I never thought those words would come out of my mouth ever. But Chloe Fredericks, I am on board with you, gal.
And mine is Sparrow.
And I of course. It was perfection. You can't be mad at that. Of course.
It was pure perfection, and he was right. And I feel bad because he said his three B's of Kentucky are basketball, bourbon, and
baseball bats, and bluegrass.
Four. And Kentucky went out in the first round of this basketball tournament. Ooh.
All of our teams.
All of our teams are gone.
Have been out.
Yeah. They're casualties, but at least our teams made it past Kentucky's team. So.
And Bama.
And definitely Bama. Definitely Bama. But
again, basketball podcast coming soon. We'll probably wait for next March.
We'll wait for next year because this year is trash. I can't.
But that is week 2 of the American Song Contest. I'm mad we have to wait till next week to find out who qualifies. Definitely hoping for Chloe. Definitely hoping for Almira. I'm hoping for ENISA. You're hoping for
Montana.
Prill, I guess.
Montana.
I'd be happy if he qualified too. That's that. But let us know.
Wait, so I need you to tell me, did they talk about who is performing next week? Do we know the list of who's performing next week?
No.
They did not tell us who's performing next week.
No, and I don't have any information because I use good old reliable Wikipedia, which is seemingly the most reliable source at this point. I'm gonna double check Eurovision World very quickly before we go, but
I'm surprised they didn't say it on the show. They
didn't. Well, they didn't last week either.
Well, yeah, they did. Well, no, they didn't. No,
we knew because I had the lineup already because it had been released.
Right. Well, they need to release it again, but whatever.
Well, they released the studio cuts, I think, on like Saturday or Sunday before, so we'll know who's performing, but like on Friday. So let's just hope. And I'm kind of like, do I hope that Alabama and Arizona are performing in the same one so we can vote for each other, or do I hope that they're not so that way there's less competition?
I'm thinking they're going to put us in the same.
Probably.
But I mean, maybe not because there's so many, and we only just did 211 heats, so we still have 3 more. So yeah, maybe we end up in the same heat, maybe not. But
it'd be nice because then I could be like, Lana, I don't care how the performance goes. 10 points to Alabama, I got you. Don't worry.
Right, and I will vote 10 points to Arizona just for you.
Well, so I will say as well, we don't have the order or anything. We have all the song titles finally, though.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fun new thing. So Alabama, the song is called The Difference.
Okay, so no, that's not one of the songs that they have on Spotify now. So okay.
No. And then Arizona, the song is La Finiquera, which I'm hoping the whole song is in Spanish. I'm really hoping that happens because I think that'd be really, really cool. But we have song titles such as Keys to the Kingdom, DIY, Steady Machine, Natalie, a song just called Natalie, on the horizon. I Don't Take Pictures Anymore. Sunsets and Sea Turtles out of the Northern Mariana Islands, which I already love.
Okay.
Mr. Independent coming out of Texas. Oh boy.
Oh God, I'm really scared of that one.
Working on a Miracle is a title. Roller Coaster. Like, I'm excited for these song titles. We have no clue what the songs are yet, but 2 weeks in, I have to say, I'm really engaged and I'm really excited about this whole thing. It's not Eurovision, and I've taken all of my like Eurovision preconceived notions out of it, and I'm having a really fun time with this. So.
Yeah, I think it's a really good show. It's a solid show that I can see myself watching, being engaged in, and or even if I don't watch the show like every week, knowing that I have their songs that I could just listen to and really, really dive into like the meanings of. I think it's very intriguing and very interesting, and I'm very happy that we decided to do this because I love music. So anything music related, I'm like, yes, please. Yeah. But as long as it's good music, and this has turned out to be some really good music. These 2 weeks have been solid weeks of good music. So I'm not mad at it.
And we have 34 more songs to experience.
So I'm happy.
You see why I love Eurovision so much, because it's all of this, and like following the national selections too. There's like 200 songs from this year that I just have this like plethora of like enjoyment for. So I'm really happy with where we are at currently. I'm just hoping and praying that both Alabama and Arizona qualify when we get there. So
if they're good. If they're good. This is my thing.
So we listened to Nico.
We listened to some of the songs from Nico,
and that catalog is pretty good.
Yeah, they are pretty good. I was like, okay. I was not expecting what I heard from Nico when I heard about Nico, because number one, I really thought when it was like Alabama's picking a song, I'm like, okay, it's going to be country. It's going to be country.
There were a few states we were like, okay, Montana's probably, Wyoming's probably sending country, West Virginia's probably sending country, Alabama, Mississippi.
Oklahoma blew that out of the water for us last week.
Mississippi.
Well, I did not always think Mississippi, because I know Mississippi is a heavily populated with country music, but I also know Mississippi is a lot of us. When I say us, I mean me in there, and very heavily populated and very, R&B, gospel, even bluegrass, if you like it, because it's like bluegrass and gospel go together hand in hand. And so a lot of old down home spiritual gospel roots come out of Mississippi. And so I expected that soulful, like even if it was a country artist, I expected the soul to come out of Mississippi, because that's what Mississippi is based on. Their music is very soulful and very down roots and down home kind of feel. So I expected that, but we got a really great representation from Mississippi with Kyote Star. It was really good.
That got added to my playlist today. I finally remembered to add all the songs from like last week that I loved. So well, obviously Elizabeth Vaughn Presley's on there. We added ENISA this week. We added Chloe Fredericks, Almira, Zaky. I love the American Song Contest, and I love all of this, this of it all. But yeah, so that's what we think of week 2 of the American Song Contest. Let us know in the comments below what y'all think. Who were your favorites? Who are you not feeling? Who are you still not feeling? And why is it New Boot Goofing like us? Make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. And with that, we're out of here because we got more stuff to do. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Woo. Bye. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Sparrow's an amazing song. Always love Sparrow, period.
Stream Can't Make You Love Me.
Over you too.
Great. And Green Light.